So guys, Rwanda hosted one of the biggest business gatherings in Africa. That is the Africa CEO Forum. We had presidents, investors, CEOs, business executives. Everybody came together to discuss Africa's future. They talked about trade, investment, and how African countries can work together instead of depending too much on outsiders. Very serious event indeed. First of all, what exactly is this event? The Africa CEO Forum is basically the biggest business gathering on the continent. This year was the 13th edition, held on the 13th and 14th of May 2026 with over 2,500 CEOs and more than 90 countries in attendance. So, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu attended the forum to present Nigeria as a country open for business. He spoke about some of the reforms his administration says it is implementing, things like the digital tax system where you can access tax payment from your phone. He spoke about fuel subsidy removal, the exchange rate reforms, and his effort to simplify business processes for investors. But one of the interesting parts of Tinubu's presentation at the Africa CEO Forum was how confidently he spoke about Nigeria digital tax reforms as one of the country's major achievements and investment attractions. And honestly, for international investors in that room, that presentation sounded solid. Nigeria was basically saying, we are open for business. But at the same time, you can also imagine some investors quietly observing the contradictions. A country still battling high inflation, unstable power supply, and economic pressure is already presenting a very new tax system as a milestone achievement, even before completing one cycle to measure its actual progress.
Tax reform will have to be written in English language, understandable, and not Japanese in English. A standard that everyone will be able to pay, not for the avoidance, but genuineness of citizenship, right commitment to pay taxes. Write it simple but not stupid. I've reformed that in Nigeria. You can pay your taxes from your telephone.
Not necessary criticism, but more like progress being projected before the real outcomes. Because reforms are one thing, recorded results are another. But then came the moment Nigerians online could not ignore. At the point, while talking about Africa putting money where our mouth is, President Tinubu held the mic too far from his mouth.
Organizers and the participants. For me, Africa needs to put its money where its mouth is.
Would you put your microphone where your mouth is? Yeah. Thank you.
The moderator then interrupted and said, "Can you put your mic where your mouth is?" But the entire room laughed, and once again, that was not even one of the only awkward moments. So, during the discussion about African investment and industrialization, a question came up around local production and manufacturing, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was challenged as to why Nigeria doesn't take the lead in starting some of these things directly, despite being Africa's biggest economy. And honestly, there was a noticeable pause. You could tell the question caught him a bit off guard.
Where we can trade with one another.
Well, why don't you start one?
You say?
Why don't you start the commodity exchange you're talking about? You're the most numerous country, biggest economy, or South Africa, you know, the two of you battle it out at times, don't you?
To be fair,
yeah.
International forums are always not very easy. These are live conversations. You do not prepare for them. They are not campaign speeches. Leaders are speaking in front of global investors and other leaders. So sometimes they might be mixed up at moments that do not really land properly. Some people praised the vision and said Nigeria looked active on the continental stage. Others says, please fix things at home before pitching big dreams abroad. The challenge now is whether everyday Nigerian will eventually feel the progress in their real life beyond the conference stages and the investment panels. Africa CEO Forum brought business strategy. Nigeria brought both strategy and entertainment. It is a truth at a time. Take care and have a nice day.